Now, just to give you a little bit more of an example of what you can expect with more or less how we monitor your services and track and ensure that you're ranking and generating leads, we use a tool called ProRank Tracker, and more or less all the businesses that we have services for are utilizing, we're utilizing this for to monitor their rankings. It gives you a clear indication of your search terms after we find out what those are. I'll explain in detail, a little bit of detail, the process of how we pick those. Some of them are more obvious than others, but essentially what this does is we continue to try and rank you for these positions. This gives you a guide, more or less, of where your rankings are at. You can see for Van Tynen's keywords, the number of positions that he has that's occupying. The number one position is 17, top 3 he's got 11, top 10 he's got 3. We're basically, all of his key terms we are ranking in the top 10 for, with the majority of them being in the top 3 and number 1 positions. Now for Jim, these are what we determined the keywords to be. I'll hop over to that in a second. How we're figuring out that those are the most popular keywords. But you can see over here, this is the term painting contractors, Kalamazoo, Michigan, interior painting contractors, exterior, so on and so forth, commercial painting. Now, Kalamazoo and Portage is the area that we're looking to encompass initially, with Jim's business being located in Portage, but Kalamazoo being the larger surrounding area. You can see that we're encompassing all these search terms in both of the local cities here. What this shows closer to the top here is actually where it's ranking. This is the ranking of the actual website itself. And then what this also shows is where you're coming up in the Google local maps, indicated by this right here. I've probably seen this before. This is where I just showed you in the last example. I'll hop over to it real quick. That's in tracking more or less where you're coming up on this Google local maps here. Now, a lot of the traffic, when this does come up, what Google does is more or less shows local intent. When they sense local intent being sought after for a brick and mortar type business, it will bring up this type of search result. The important thing to do is to try to be ranked as high as you can in that, because really you can only get one listing on that, but also to surround that with your website or a video or something similar, so more or less when eyes are drawn to that positioning, you know, on the surrounding areas of that, they're more or less seeing your website as well. So if somebody, you know, does this search, they see you up top at position A, and then they see, you know, your website ranking a couple times just below that, that really gives the indication that you know, you're either more successful, trusted, all the things that are implied along with that. So back to that, you can see with Jim's rankings here that position, you know, it's showing that he's position 2 for the local, 5 here, 1A here. The majority of all these terms he's ranking position 1 for. And more or less this is kind of dominating results. These are all position 1s for the website under these terms. And you know, more or less, like I said, for all those terms, we're able to rank in these higher positions. Now, if I scroll down a little further, you can see the significant improvement that we were able to get with Jim's site, dating back to October, midway through October. Now, right now, the history of this isn't showing back as far. I might be able to indicate that. But I do have some screenshots that I think were attached of where we were ranking before. Now, if we go back the last 60 days, we'll get an indication of when Jim's site actually made the jump here as soon as this refreshes. So if we go down here, we can see that, you know, more or less this is the position that it was at, 20, which is page 2. And then you see everything more or less jumped to be ranking at 3 and then position 2 here. And that is more or less what happened with each one of these terms. Exterior painting contractors Kalamazoo, we were ranking down here, then we jumped all the way up to 1. And you can see that through and through all the way.